Hey, everybody. It's Marty Bahama causing a lot of Thursday drama. I'll give you guys a chance to get in here before we get into the nuts and the bolts of this awesome live tonight. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and give us some shout outs to some of our loan originators that's tearing it up, aka even some of our satellite branch managers. Jack Cooter, he's out in between Tullahoma and Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Every single day, I'm watching this guy put up some insane numbers. He's creating these polls out there in these Facebook groups. Today, he created a poll. Within 1 hour, he had like 15 to 20 people that said they didn't know where to start when it comes to buying a house. Hey, thank you for the likes, guys. Don Marie, please let me know. Make sure my volume's okay on this thing because I'm using the mic from the camera and not the mic here, so I don't have to stand in front of it. Let me know how that sounds if you don't care. Hope you guys are having a great night. Keep coming in here and thank you for all the people subscribing. We're up to 4,000 something subscribers. That's absolutely amazing. It's only getting bigger and it's only getting better. We've got people out there now doing real estate, wholesaling using the buzz. Maurice asking, he put a nice little video on for me today. It's only about maybe a minute video just showing some of the posts that he's making out there. He said he made a post within 1 hour, had three people letting him know they wanted to sell their house. So the buzz is working for insurance agents, it's working for wholesalers, it's working for realtors, working for loan originators. It's worked for them for a long time. Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear it? Sounds great. Thank you. Awesome, Landon. Thank you. What's up, Ryan? What's up? Thanks for sharing that out there, Don Marie. I appreciate that. Ryan, man. And here's another guy who created an amazing sellers poll. So a long time ago, I had a realtor say, Marty, can you find me sellers? I said, sure, let me try it out. Now, I've come up with a really good sellers poll since then, but he's using one of my old sellers poll that is what is stopping you from becoming a home seller? And in basically just had all these different options you could pick. And one of them is I need to do some work on my house, a lot of work on my house before I can sell it. Another one is I'm not a homeowner yet, I'm renting, but I want to become a homeowner. And the other option I think was I want to know how much my house is worth so I can sell it within the next year or two. So you got to think about these are actual real people, real heartbeats, real houses, and they're letting Ryan know, well, except for the ones that's wanting to buy a house, the home seller is letting him know they have a house that they would like to know the value of it, or they have a house they got to do some work to. Now that leads you into an easy way to get into a conversation of, okay, what kind of work do you need to do to your house? Because you got to understand a lot of people don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. I'm in the mortgage business and being a realtor, and sometimes I'm still a little clueless on what would I need to do to this house if I want to refinance right now. I've got a closet that, well, it was bare until a famous, awesome, most beautiful woman in the world, Kamikaze Christie. She made the closet perfect, put shelves, put the wall up, made it great. But there's certain things people don't know what they got to do to their house. Maybe they got a sink that's gone. Maybe they got a toilet that's broken. Maybe they got siding that's tore down on the outside. Maybe they got paint chippings around the window sills. People don't know exactly what they need to do to their house before they can sell it. Well, what Ryan did right there, Ryan, great job. In 1 hour, I'm pretty sure that was 1 hour. I had to go back and look at that screenshot again. In 1 hour, he had 40 people, 40 people had clicked the option that they are renting and they're tired of renting. They want to become a homeowner. 40 people in an hour. Ryan is a realtor. Now, as a realtor, could you take 40 people and put them on the right path of becoming a homeowner? Could you take the 17 people that said they need to do work to their house before they sell it? Could you take those 17 people and get them to let you list their house? This is what the buzz teaches you how to do. Ryan's a firm believer that the buzz is amazing. And so is Landon, who is putting up some serious numbers up in Indiana. And thank you. Just an hour. 62 people now in climbing. That is amazing, Ryan. You know, this whole live tonight, by the way, guys, this kind of got it kind of got sparked by me being on this new social platform called Clubhouse. So I was on this social platform today called Clubhouse, and I went into a group called Real Estate Uncensored, and it had about maybe 60 to 80 different realtors in there, and seemed like it might have had a couple of loan originators that were on both sides. I think they were brokers slash loan originators or branch managers. I'm listening to this conversation, and they're talking about pre-approval letters and pre-qualification letters, and how there's a huge difference between the two things. And if you don't have a real pre-approval letter, then the loan's going to go sideways. And if you have a real pre-approval letter, then the loan is absolute gold. It can't go wrong. Well, guess what? That's wrong. Eh, that is so wrong. It's unreal wrong. But that's okay. It's just a matter of listening to what people are talking about out there that is really causing their issues, or maybe a block that they need to get fixed or figure out what is going to make this better, and how am I going to learn this business. So I encourage almost every realtor out there to try to learn as much about the lending side as you possibly can, even though there's certain things you can't do. And I'll give you a great example. Just because a loan is pre-approved from a real loan officer, a professional. Maybe he's been in the business for 20 years. He's the greatest. His name's Marty Human, definitely the greatest. But if that was a pre-approved by me, that doesn't mean necessarily that I ran the finance. It doesn't mean necessarily that I have sent that loan up to underwriting and my underwriter has approved it. There's a monster difference in the level of thinking here, and everybody's got their own little different what they consider this is strong or weak. Is this a strong file or a weak file? And then you got the situation of, okay, I'm a real estate agent. I do not want to be out there driving around showing a house to some or trying to show houses to somebody who's not really pre-approved. Don't We all understand that one. Trust me. And I'm a former realtor. I know that sucks. But at the same time, hey, 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 Troy, what's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming in here. I appreciate that, man. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And great job, by the way. I'll go ahead and give Troy a shout out. Troy messaged me and said, thanks to the buzz here, we picked up another group, Marty, and I'm working on more groups. I think right now you have what, two or three groups you have full control of. One might have 20 or 30,000 people in it. Thanks to the buzz. Annie Smith yesterday said that she had got a message from Facebook. Ha ha, two new listens. Now that's what I'm talking about right there. She said she'd got a message from Facebook saying, hey, her group is now able for monetization. She can now monetize the group because she has over 1,000 members, and it's a public group. So she had to fill out some kind of little form to send in. Becky Perry, there's another one. Now Becky Perry picked up a group today. One of our realtors out in New Mexico that's with us. She's been a Buzz Team member now for a couple of years, something like that. But she picked up a group today. I think it said, Becky, it had what, maybe 8,000 people in it. I can't remember exactly how many. You showed me the screenshot. And that's what's awesome too, is a lot of times our Buzz Team members, something good will happen to them. They'll go out there and they'll drop a screenshot in our Buzz Team group. So we had Sarah today, who's also a loan officer with us at Southwest Funding. Sarah picked up two groups. One had 7,000 people. Oh, she showed me her PBG, I think is what it was, but she picked up a group that had 15,000 people in it. So picking up these groups right now is the greatest thing ever, guys. I'm telling you. So if you don't know how to do that, you want to become a Buzz Team member, message me after this live tonight and we'll talk about that. Yes, yes, yes. And like the stream, please share it. So I'm in this clubhouse today talking about pre-quals and pre-approval letters. Let's get back on the right track. You all know I have a short train, a caboose, an engine and a caboose, and that's it. But there's a monster difference. So let's say, for example, I'm taking an application right now. Don Reed's wanting to buy a house out in the big city of Cookeville, Tennessee. Go, Don, go. She's wanting to buy a house out in Cookeville, so she applies with me. Now, me being a loan officer for many years now, I can look at her credit and I can go by the information she's telling me. Okay, Marty, I've got a great job. My boss is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love him. He's great. Him and Kamikaze are wonderful. And my pay's great. Maybe. And I love it. Maybe. But no, you do a great job, Don Marie. There's no doubt she is wonderful, wonderful. But let's say I've got Don Marie applying for a loan. Now I make the decision, am I going to give her a pre-approval letter based off what is she telling me? Or am I going to give her a pre-approval letter based off how much information she has actually provided me in my hand? Am I going to give her a pre-approval letter? And don't get me wrong, when I'm saying pre-approval letter, we're always talking about a pre-qualification letter. Always. They can slice it and dice it however they want to. They can do whatever they want to. Call a pre-approval letter a real pre-approval letter etched in stone gold, but it's not true. No matter how they try to twist it, it's all pre-qualification. Because what happens a lot of times is, and I'll give you a great example of what I was getting ready to tell you about a minute ago. So Neil's out in South Carolina. He's my Neil is what I would consider probably one of the best in Southwest funding. The guy has been in the business now for about 3 years. It doesn't take 20 years. You don't need to be a 30-year anything to consider yourself great. I hear that a lot. I've been a loan officer for 20, 30 years. I've been a realtor 20, 30 years. Okay. Well, so have I. And doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make this one particular loan any different than any other loan. We still got a loan and we got to figure it out. So he gets given this loan from another company, basically from a realtor, said, look, this company said they had this loan done. They had it pre-approved, findings ran, everything golden, and I went out there and found this guy a house. And guess what? Now the lender's coming back and telling me, hey, no go, no go. Why? I tell you why. Because that lender didn't do a good job. And that's the reality. Just like there's realtors out there that can find a contract or get a contract super fast, and there's realtors out there that might take a little bit longer. There's realtors out there that can list a house super fast, might take a little longer. There's loan officers out there that can close loans and know what they're doing. Loan officers that miss things because with the mortgage world, it ain't just so cut and dry. There's a lot of onions to peel back in these layers. And what happens for a loan originator is they're usually at the bottom of that totem pole. Everything's kind of happening out here. We're at the office. Everything's happening out here. We got an appraiser that's going out. We've got a client that's trying to get an insurance quote. We got a realtor writing a contract, and we're trying to get the closing costs rolled into the contract. And now I've got a customer who's told me how much money he's made. I've got his income docs in. I had him pre-approved. Everything was golden. But what happened to that guy was that loan officer is he didn't get an updated VOE. So whenever that realtor called Neil, Neil said, well, sure, have the person send me everything over. Let me look at it and I'll see what's happening. Well, in our world, in the mortgage world, it's a lot to do with debt to income ratio. How much this person makes compared to how much he pays out or how much they pay out. And what had happened was is when they went to run the findings and went to send it up to underwriting this other company, the underwriter looked at it. The same thing that happens with every company out there. That's why a pre-approval letter and a pre-qualification is always going to be the same until it gets into the underwriter's hand. It doesn't matter what this paper is made out of. You can make it out of gold. You can make it out of plastic. It doesn't matter. What matters is a person that's going to give that approval, and that underwriter, he or she may be in a great mood. She may be in a bad mood. You never know. They're human beings too. It's not computers. These are human beings. So that underwriter got that file and said, eh. Now that underwriter at that company also made a mistake. That underwriter could have said, hey, give me an updated verification of employment. Let's see if anything has changed with the pay, because the guy had told the loan officer, this is how much I make. He sent income docs in. They had everything in the system. They ran the finance through Fannie Mae. Everything was golden. When they got the contract in, it ships up to underwriting with the loan package, with all the income docs. That's how this whole process works. Once the realtor gives us a contract, We take that contract, we take the income docs, we take the loan package, we get them to sign. It goes to the underwriter. Now the underwriter gets to say yes or no. So that is really how it boils down. So remember this as a real estate agent, the best thing you can really do when you're dealing with the loan originator and you got your client, but remember, it's also the loan originator's client. It ain't just your client. So it's both your clients you're working together. But on the side, talking to that loan originator, there's certain things you probably can ask, and there's probably certain things you probably should never ask. I wouldn't ask, hey, what's this person's credit score? That's going to be a definite no go. I would not do that. By the way, just to break the monotony real quick, like it, subscribe it, hit it. If you don't, give me a like, take a hike. What's up? What's up? Welcome to the buzz where your what is not a what was. I love it. I love it. I love it. Want some more of it? And tomorrow, I'm having a training with all our newbies at Southwest Funding at 10 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to be talking about, first of all, how to origination from these Facebook groups, endless clients rolling into the door, coming into the door out of the Facebook groups. And then we're going to talk about how do we take this application over to a funded loan, because an application doesn't mean anything unless we get it to a funded loan. It's just an app. It's just an application. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about building that pipeline and I'm all about building that database. So, yeah, it may not close now, but what I do in our loan officers, I say, hey, thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Give me a like. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. But what we do for the loan originators, we say, hey, you got to get this thing from application over to funded loan. But now you're going to build you a database up of all these applications, and you're not going to give up on this person. That's where a lot of people make the big mistakes at is in our world, in our loan officer world, we are running and gunning through these applications. Boom, 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 especially now with the Facebook groups. I mean, literally, guys, I took over 33 applications, names, date of birth, social security numbers, addresses, knew how much they made, knew the price range they wanted to buy the house in without making one telephone call in one day. 33 applications in one day with no telephone calls. There's nothing better than the Facebook groups, and there's some great platforms out there. But that's just unheard of in any kind of world. So, with that being said, get back on track. And that track is when you've got a pre-approval in your hand as a realtor, we got to figure out what kind of questions we need to ask, what kind of questions we probably can ask. So it's going to cross any kind of lines. It's going to make anybody feel kind of weird. Any kind of, I have had realtors say, "Hey, Marty, how do you feel about this?" So let's put myself in my place where every year I close a minimum. There's not a year in Marty Human's life as a loan originator that I didn't close 60 loans. 60 loans every year. That's 5 loans a month on average. And that's that. And if I only closed 60, it was a bad year. Okay. Bad year. I must have been taking a lot of time off. I had a lot of real estate agents over those years call me up, ask me certain things about the pre approval letters, realtors that I didn't know. And what happens a lot of times if you're a real estate agent and you get this pre approval letter over here from now your client, and they tell you they're working with Ed over here at Southwest Funding, and you don't know that company, a lot of times, a lot of realtors have that mentality. Well, I don't know Ed, but I know Marty, and Marty's amazing, and they're right, but it doesn't make it right. That don't mean that they can take that. They should be able to say, hey, don't use Ed, use Marty. No, because Ed has already put money into a credit report. Ed has put money into that client, his client too, not just your client. Ed doesn't want to, he wants to build a feed a family. But there's nothing wrong with the realtor calling me up and saying, Marty or Ed, how do you feel about this client? Because that's going to let you know your level. Now, my level of how much gas am I going to spend on this client? How much time am I going to put in with this client? If Ed says, we know what, saw the client, everything looks golden, but I don't have everything. I'm still waiting on some stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm still waiting on some stuff because that might even spark the realtor to call the client and say, hey, Ed's still waiting on some stuff. Can you get it in? Let's get you totally pre-approved as good as we can. Guys, we've had people get fired, quit their job after they got clear to closes. We've had houses fall on houses. We've had trees fall on houses the night before they're supposed to sign. We've had people pass away on the way to the closing table. They were dying to get there, literally. Wasn't the right way to do it. Crazy shit happens. That's just part of it. And hearing these conversations today and thinking about, hey, we can't save the world. And there's no way we can ever really get out there to every realtor and say, hey, try to learn some of the loan side. Because when I was a realtor, that's the part I was really missing. I had no clue. And it would have really helped me out. And maybe I would have still be a realtor if I would have had that ability to be able to learn some of this part, to be able to learn that there's a monster difference between credit report and that repayment ability. So if I'm a real estate agent and I'm talking to my lender and I want to really know how solid the deal is, I might say something like, "Hey, Marty, how solid is this deal? Super solid? Not so solid? Great. Oh, it's super solid. Does the guy have a lot of trade lines? Have a lot of things financed?" I'm not asking his DTI. I'm just saying, did they have a lot of things financed? A lot of good trade lines? Do they have a lot of good trade lines? There's nothing wrong saying, do they have a lot of good trade lines? I like that question because that is how they're going to buy this house. They're not going to buy that house with that credit score because that credit score can bounce up and down like a bouncing ball, no problem at all. I tell the story all the time. I have watched credit scores go from 30 points, 50 points, 80 points, 100 points just by somebody paying down a credit card to get the balance down, just by somebody getting a medical $300 medical collection deleted. It is seriously insane that that little $300 medical collection was the difference between this person being able to buy a house and not buy a house, but it's really not true. That was just a part of it. It's a dream. One thing don't go buy a house, otherwise it wouldn't be a dream. It wouldn't be a dream to own a house if everybody just boom 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 got them. It takes multiple things. That was just part of it. So keep in mind for sure that when you get that pre-approval letter or pre-qualification letter, until you get that contract into that loan officer's hands and they get that contract into the underwriter's hands with all the income docs, it's still not gold. It's still not ready to go cash that check because that underwriter could look at it and say, So what happened was when Neil looked at it, Neil got an updated verification of employment. The income was more income than what was before. It took the debt to income ratio down to about 50%, 51%, as a matter of fact, maybe 50.9. You can't do the loan over 50%. So in my world, to do a refer, you got to be under 40% on the front end and 50% on the back end, and that's debt to income ratios. And what that means is on the front end, how much do they make per month compared to how much their mortgage payment is or going to be. So if they're buying a $150,000 house and their payment's going to be right around 1,000 a month, well then guess what? If they make 4,000 a month, that number is 25%. They're at 25% in front. We're golden. On the back end is the debt to income ratio. That 50% is how much they make compared to how much all their bills are. Everything on their credit report. Not all their bills. The electric company don't count. The cell phone company don't count. But what does count is what's on their credit report plus the mortgage. So Neil, being a great loan officer, realized it was still a little bit out of whack. He thinks outside the box. Hey, let's get a different insurance quote. That insurance quote saved that deal. Got to clear to close today. Last thing is Manazra. Manazra. Great job, Neil. Great job. If Neil would have been the typical newbie, he wouldn't have known that. A lot of times when I'm dealing with the realtor, I say, hey, how long you been a real estate agent? They'll say, how long you been a loan originator? You know? And then at that point, it's about support. Just because somebody's brand new doesn't mean that they don't get the loan done or don't get it closed. So, like for example, in Neil's case, in Landon Martin's case, these guys do a ton of training and are looking at these loans with the loan officers. So even a brand new loan officer may still or would still get that loan closed because they got good support. So now you got to base it off which loan officers you're working with out there, which ones are actually getting the loans closed. And that's going to be, you're going to start learning how to deal with each loan officer, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like for us, we got a lot of loan officers at Southwest Funding. You should put all your eggs in our baskets. We got a lot of loan officers. But if you're not in one of the states we cover, make sure you get out there and drop a post. Just like I tell every loan officer, if you want to find a realtor that might need some help, you want to help them with these Facebook groups, can anybody recommend a realtor that needs more clients? Any realtor out here can do the same thing. Can anybody recommend a loan originator or a loan officer that needs more clients? And then the next thing you know, you start developing these relationships. You start working together. But anyway, I hope this helps. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Be sure to like it, subscribe it, check out the buzz. It's working for insurance agents, loan originators, realtors, business owners. Check out my new channel called the Sneaker Buzz, our new YouTube channel. I think we're up to like 200 something subscribers. So we've got some, we're using the Facebook groups to leverage ourselves to get some good deals on some sneakers. And it's not Snickers, sneakers. All right, guys. The buzz is out. Talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya, see ya, see ya.